Hey there, David Lee here, Texas Horns football. Continuing our look at 2019 Longhorns position by position breakdowns and previews. Going to be looking at the biggins on the line of scrimmage on the defense this time. And again, we're looking at this from the line of scrimmage out. So looking at the D-line this time, projected starters, key reserves, what to expect. My confidence that I have in this group or lack of confidence, but I definitely want to know your thoughts, so give the video a like, leave your comments below, and then also put your projections below. But first of all, looking at the key losses for the line, obviously huge loss, Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year, Charles Omenihu, now with the Houston Texans. Big loss there. Breckyn Hager, senior leadership loss there, and also Chris Nelson, nose tackle. So pretty much the entire defensive line. Because Texas pretty much runs three traditional down linemen, and then usually three linebackers, and then typically five defensive backs. That's the defense that we're going to kind of go with when we're looking at these projected starting lineups and reserves as well, especially looking at running 5 DBs in the Big 12 with all these passing offenses. So that's what we're going to look at. Kind of that traditional nose tackle, and then 2 defensive ends slash tackles. So I think overall, initial thoughts about this group, it's probably the group that I'm worried about the most, not just because of the loss of experience and leadership from Omenihu, Hager, and Nelson, but just plugging in a lot of guys that have some playing time, but haven't really proven to, really be able to step up and be the guy. So, really nobody just pops out at you among this group. So let's take a look at the projected starters and in key reserves. So, looking at likely weak side, on the weak side defensive end, senior Malcolm Roach, who among this entire group, he's definitely, the guy that everybody's looking up to step up and to step up his game to be a leader. He was at Big 12 Media Days representing the team, one of the 5 players representing the team. And, of all these guys, I think Roach came in as a recruit, pretty highly touted, and really yet hasn't lived up to that as a defensive end slash defensive tackle. So really expecting him to be the guy to step up and lead this group to wreak havoc in the backfield, which is what we need. I really think overall, any defense does, but particularly this defense is going to have to figure out ways to get to the quarterback, for the linemen to get to the quarterback, especially in the Big 12, and to just mess stuff up in the backfield. Omenihu, I think, was able to do that for the most part throughout the season. Had a really good season. His sack numbers weren't as high as some people might expect from the Defensive Lineman of the Year, but there's a lot more to it than just the number of sacks. Getting back there and just blowing stuff up in the backfield is almost, can sometimes be just as valuable. So hopefully we see that from Roach step up and at least kind of fill those shoes. And then senior Gerald Wilbon, right there in the middle, plugging stuff up. Obviously another guy with a pretty significant amount of playing time, not necessarily has, stepped up to be a leader that just kind of pops off at you as somebody who just, really stands out, but definitely expecting a lot from him. Kind of anchoring that in the middle. Chris Nelson, I thought, did a great job last year. And then junior Taquan Graham, looking to start possibly on that strong side end. Another guy that's had some playing time, but hasn't really stepped up to be somebody who has just amassed a lot of snaps. Brandon Jones was at Big 12 Media Days. this year, and he specifically mentioned Taquan Graham as one of the handful of guys that have really stepped up to kind of be a leader on defense. So that was kind of comforting to hear. But those are my projected starters on the line. But looking at the reserves, really important group here, I think, because I really think that we're going to see a lot of these guys get a pretty significant amount of snaps, starting with freshman Keondre Coburn, a big end in the middle. Todd Orlando has already come out this offseason and spring to say that he's been super impressed by Coburn. So I wouldn't be surprised if Coburn ended up getting, taking away a lot of snaps from Wilbon, but pretty much projects as a traditional nose tackle right there in the middle. And then Marquez Bimage, we heard his name last year a few times, so I expect him to kind of get in there and get some snaps and get the rotation. And I think ideally it would be really great if a lot of these guys were able to kind of get in there as a second unit with a lot of confidence from the coaches. Jamari Chisholm, senior, has kind of hung around, I think, for a while. Doesn't get a lot of playing time, a lot of snaps, but, who knows, maybe he steps up in his senior year to get out there. And then Ajomo, freshman, played some last year, but was able to earn a red shirt, I believe. But, I think there's a lot of excitement for him, looking at him as a defensive end, more kind of like a pass rusher. So could be inserted in certain situations on certain downs, something that I would look for. And then one guy, kind of a wild card guy that I'm really interested in is transfer Jacoby Jones, junior college transfer. So coming in as a junior, to kind of see how he works in with this group. How much trust and confidence do the coaches have in him, being a new face and being able to insert him when needed, or to give Graham or Roach a rest. So overall, like I said, I'm probably most concerned about this group than any other unit, just because it's so incredibly important. Overall, there were times last year when the defense played great, and then there were times like Oklahoma, West Virginia, a lot against Oklahoma State, where it looked like they were just chasing their tail. And I really, really think it starts at the line. And so, going to be interested to see if this group makes, steps up and fills the hole, because I think of the losses on defense, it's most impacted with this group, with the line. And so how are these guys gonna step in and fill the void? So those are my projected starting lineups. My thoughts, definitely, like I said, leave your projected lineup in the comments. Give the video a like, share it out. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that little logo in the corner. And any other comments or questions you have, definitely feel free to put them in there. We'll do my best to answer them. And also, don't forget to check out our videos and our live videos on our Facebook page, and that's just facebook.com/Texas Longhorns Football. We'll see you on the next video, the next position. Okay.